let's begin with some fun gaming news, because that would be hilarious. I couldn't help but notice that, Mr. Chato, you had shared a tweet here that that I thought was quite entertaining. Let's play it first, then you can tell us about what it is and the full significance of it afterwards.
Well, there's nothing to play. It's just a still, but
okay. Oh yeah, that's right. Well, tell us, because I saw a clip elsewhere, but tell us about this this woman here. Who is
Sarah
she?
Bond is the
And what
president.
did she say?
Sarah Bond is the president of Xbox, and it's going into the shitter faster than Disney is. And she did an interview with Bloomberg where the interviewer was pretty good, had some very good questions about deleting 3 studios from their their list of partners, and what's happening with console gaming. And Sarah basically said nothing, just one giant obfuscation, no real honest soul searching commentary. And in her own video where she introduces herself, the first thing she says is her name and her pronouns, which is the most important thing for gamers.
Yes, that was very inclusive of her in a Bloomberg interview to begin with her pronouns.
Right. And the most important thing that she mentioned in the interview was the expansion of the gaming market, how important it is to get to new markets. Well, possibly the most important thing would be to retain the existing markets. And the idea, it's this holy grail everybody on the progressive side has, that somehow, if they could just reach this untapped group of people that have no interest in your product at all, things will be better.
Yeah, so like this untapped group of, like, we did a video about this where we saw the Xbox presentation where they had broken the numbers and they had figured there were 3 billion people who just couldn't wait to start playing Xbox games. All you had to do was make it safe for them to join, remove all the barriers and make it safe. And one of the most important thing you can do is start with your pronouns. Because Lord knows that of those 3 billion people in some undisclosed country somewhere on the earth, they're all about pronouns, and that's a very important step in making them feel safe and welcome. Is basically the head of the Xbox platform or Xbox Live or whatever the hell it is. Who cares at this point? to begin with base pronouns. Yeah, that's,
well, this kind of reminds me of an old sketch the Frantics, the comedy troupe I was with, did, where an individual wanted to open up a cake store, and their business math was that the city that they were in had 1 million people. So he based his math on all 1 million people coming into his cake store buying cakes, and he got a loan based on the 1 million people buying cake. So he made enough cakes to service 1 million people.
That's exactly the skit I thought you were talking
about. Oh yeah,
about.
yeah. So, and of course you're not going to, it's always even irrespective of the pronoun stuff, you only have a finite base of people. And I think for all intents and purposes, PlayStation, Nintendo, and Xbox are just shifting deck chairs on the Titanic between each other, right? That's all you can do. There's no more deck chairs available. Yeah, sure, maybe you can add a game like a dancing game, like Nintendo and the Japanese are very good with coming up with these weird games that no one in North America thinks about. And suddenly it reaches out to an entire group of people and then makes them gamers, but just specifically for that one game. I don't
imagine if those weirdo Japanese Nintendo games had pronouns, how massive they would have been done.
If only. Does anyone know how to speak Japanese? Do they have pronouns in the Japanese language?
Well, I would be shocked if they didn't, but I do not think they have one for they them.
No. So to me, I think it's suspicious. I mean, she's a very attractive woman. I don't know what her curricula vitae is in terms of why she got the job. She doesn't come across as someone who has programmed games or led a programming company. She certainly doesn't sound like Gabe Newell or anybody else who have been in the trenches.
Can I speculate on what her background may be?
Go ahead. I have no idea what it is. I didn't look it up.
I would imagine there's going to be a fair bit of marketing, maybe some HR courses. And beyond that, it's going to be lesbian dance theory and other socially progressive courses from some elite university, which makes you an instant hire for companies like Xbox. I mean, it's like the same thing with Alyssa Heinlichscheid, the person who Heinlichscheided the Bud Light brand to the point where they still haven't recovered. She also had degrees in marketing, and on paper, she was a good hire from all of the elite universities. The same universities that right now are like starting to warm up the gas oven specifically for the Jewish students.
So based on her sex, and I don't mean to be misogynist about it, but to me, I think Microsoft is basically setting her up to go down with the ship. She's going to be the last president of Xbox.
So you're saying that she'll be the one that switches the light off on the way out the room?
She'll be Mary Tyler Moore.
And in no time, she'll be the ex-president of Xbox. Right.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. So that's my feeling. I mean, you're not going to hire a high-priced talent that has got experience in the field, and then blow the whole thing up, right? So to me, I think she's a hire to go down with the ship quietly.
She's a good hire to signal Xbox
decline
inclusion standards, while also someone that's probably from an elite university. I would be shocked if she wasn't. That she will have been on the trenches for a bunch of progressive causes over the years.
Right.
We haven't heard much from you on this.
Let me just add.
Yeah, go for it.
I would say that she should have added, if I wasn't president of Xbox, I'd be in a tent on campus right now.
That's probably true. That's probably true, Paul. But no, I think her being where she is just a sign of the impending collapse of Xbox. So, although I think a lot of the decision-making processes there have been problematic, some people have pointed out that the lack of quality exclusive games to Xbox has, caused some suffering there. But the fact that Game Pass makes gaming on Xbox and PC ubiquitous, there's really no reason for the console to exist any longer. So hopefully I said that easily. The fact that it's everywhere, it means that you've less reason to buy a console when you already have a computer. In fact,
well, to be fair though, according to Xbox themselves, there's 3 billion gamers left to tap. You just have to make it accessible to them. Sorry, I just had to throw that in there. That's their perspective. Carry on, culture.
Well, the concept of inclusivity is lovely. The problem is it requires exclusivity. So they start to exclude people to bring in their inclusives. So, when they do this through, various forms, whether it be the actual interest in any given game or the reinforcement of policy that taps into the conversations of people that are, playing games and things like that to remove the problematic ones. The problem is, you're eliminating the gamers that have been around and helped you to success throughout because you're not maintaining their interest with good gaming. Nobody wants activism in their games. Nobody wants politics in their games, et cetera, et cetera. But I think, like you said, like Paul was saying, I mean, I would have to agree. This is a sign of very, very bad times ahead.
Well, I mean, the basic attraction of a console is that it's cheaper than a PC. And we know from research that the disposable income for a console maxes out at $400.
Yeah.
That's what the research says.
Yeah, and they've been trying to sell all these new next generation consoles for more than that. I mean,
Right. That's a
yeah.
problem.
And now, I mean, we're in dire economic times globally,
Right.
So there's way less disposable income. So those will be, something people look. If you have to have something that has greater utility, the PC has greater utility,
True.
and therefore, will you be willing to spend what little spending money you have now on a console that does one thing well, or on the utility of a PC or even a Mac, although I would argue they have
No,
less
and the
utility.
Mac is not a gaming tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But
I
like
would
you
say
said,
in the PC's favor, it's really, really great for emulating much older and far superior
Yes.
games to the ones which are labeled as AAA right now. Although they really only have AAA budgets. Not so sure about that AAA experience. It's also interesting because my good friend Adam Koralik, who's also been here a couple of times, has completely independently and much earlier than this reported that Xbox apparently is on its final legs anyway. So yeah, this would fit nicely in with your observations, Mr. Chato.
Yeah, the Bethesda purchase was a bit of surprise. Oh, that was funny too, is that in her interview with Bloomberg, all she talked about was the TV show, which has nothing to do with the game per se, although the Steam registration showed that 1 million people went back to playing all sorts of Fallout games due to the success of the TV show. So, I mean, if they could do that to more of their games, then that would be a successful marketing ploy.
This clip was taken from Midnight's Edge in the Morning, which streams live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time on the Midnight's Edge main channel. There, you can send in your live questions and comments before clips and full stream replays are uploaded to Midnight's Edge live archives. We are also on Twitter, Rumble, Odyssey, and Facebook, so smash that like, help share, subscribe, and join us.